This project is for two little girls. We started off with something which was more eco-sensitive in nature, which has low carbon footprint. With a lot of discussion with the girls and their parents, we decided to do the project out of rammed earth. The earth which was excavated while doing the foundation was used to make the structural walls. The clients are a young couple. The house was specifically to be designed for their two daughters, aged 3 years and 9 years old. The site is on the western side of Ahmedabad. It's a residential neighborhood. It's quite calm and away from the hustle bustle of the city. It's quite spacious, the plot. It's supposed to have only 3 bedrooms, 1 living room, dining room and an open kitchen. The house was specifically to be small so that you occupy less footprint and it's easy to maintain. The project is basically divided into 2 specific wings. On one side there are 2 bedrooms, one on the ground floor, same on the first floor. On the other side we have the dining room and the kitchen, and above that is the daughter's bedroom. And the middle part is a double volume, which is the living area. It's kind of 2 wings and the living room fills up the center part. The back side of the project, it's a south side, so it's shielded by the toilets and the store and the services of it, so the house doesn't get heated up. So this is a road here and another road here. This side is north and this is south. This is where their actual house is. Their parents used to stay here. This is where they enter from. Now this whole area here was empty. It was a garden. So this is where we decided to build the house. The level from the road to the plinth of the house is around 8 feet high. This is where the car parking is. To go up, it's quite an uphill task. So what the landscape designer, Mr. Bhagwat, he kind of made a lot of levels. And these levels, these contours, made the entire path quite gradually increasing all the way till the plinth. And he's got lovely bushes done. So you go through the grasses on both the sides, and slowly after a point, suddenly you see the house. We are at the entrance. This is one of the rammed earth walls. Now you see these different bands. The rammed earth wall is not constructed all together. You basically do this much of material and it's rammed into a smaller section. That's why you see these bands. Now these colors are all natural oxides, mostly ferrous compounds. This is the true color of earth. This is yellow pigment, this is a red pigment, and these are all black. So it's got a lot of these layers happening. The girls, whenever you travel, they always collect rocks if they go to the mountains or shells if they go to the beach. The client's idea was to make sure it's all inside and it becomes an immortal memory. For example, these are yellow stones are from when they went to Jaisalmer. These black rocks are when they went to the mountains up in the Himalayas. We have some shells there from their trip to Goa. So this is the library. Now you open this staircase and goes up to the secret room on the top. This is the bedrooms on the ground floor. And same on the first floor. This is the kitchen. we have an island. This is a working platform. The lady of the house didn't want to face a blank wall. So she said she wants to face outside or maybe the children if they're eating. So that's why the cooking is on here. You can see the outside. This table and chair are old piece of furniture which we found. We've upcycled them. This rammed earth wall are walls on which you cannot draw anything. Anything which comes on it becomes permanent. So we specifically made these blackboards on which they can doodle, do painting, write messages for their parents or anything they wish. Now this is the dining area and they wanted a wash basin right next to it. What we did is we concealed the wash basin here, and once you open it, you have the wash basin. And in between area, we have a double height living room. We have glass on the top, which got natural light throughout the day, and it opens out into the garden on the floor. So if you open out all these doors, the veranda becomes part of the living room. The living room does not have a ceiling. The girls asked, why should we have a ceiling which is always the same? We should have a ceiling which changes. So we decided to have glass because it changes every time of the day. In the morning, you see the clouds. In the night, you see the stars. If it's raining, you see as if you're sitting below a waterfall. It's quite dynamic in nature and it changes throughout the days, throughout the year with the seasons. Now the sun goes from here to here, so this area gets heated up the most. So we have rammed earth wall here which insulates the house. So the rammed earth wall is done in layers. So each layer by layer it's rammed into 2 shutters. It's around 16 inches wide. It's load bearing. The sample test that we got done has more strength than RCC itself. It's probably the most natural way to construct a house. Now we didn't want to see the RCC beam from the outside, so this is how the RCC beam would rest and the wall would continue on the first floor. So from outside you just see the rammed earth wall, and from the inside you do see the RCC part of it. The same thing happened in the first floor. On top you don't want anything to penetrate inside, so we have a stone. It's to prevent any kind of water entering inside. For the terrace we have a waterproofing layer. Now rammed earth is supposed to be a living wall, so we apply a kind of a transparent waterproofing paint which basically blocks large holes inside. We have the rammed earth wall here, and we have this side to shield us from the west sun. This is the first time attempted largest rammed earth wall done so far, at least in India that we know about. The rammed earth people thumb impressions, they really worked hard on it. And as you know, rammed earth is always done in layers. But here the client had a special requirement. They wanted their love for the Himalayas to be there somewhere. So this is cut as per the contours of a mountain showing the Himalayas. Now here we have the staircase on one side and the slide going down on the other side. The back part is all services. The toilets, here we have the store and the utility. This is the children's room. That's the hanging bed, and they keep playing up. Sometimes they do backflips on the bottom side. That's their art and craft place. They also study here, and it overlooks the garden below. This is the master bedroom. The essence of the whole project can be seen in this room itself. For example, we have the rammed earth wall protecting it from the west sun. The rest of the walls have lime plaster on it, and it's by a team who's from Rajasthan. It's a technique which has been passed down through generations. Even the mix, they get it from their local village. Now, we didn't want any frills in the house, and as to have low carbon footprint, even the ceiling is exposed. So this gives you a very minimalistic look to the whole project. The bathrooms are completely made out of lime plaster. The walls, the floors, even the bathtubs, the wash basin, everything. And it's a monolithic material, so again you save a lot on grouts and joints. We're standing in the veranda of the house. The living room is designed in such a way that it opens out into the veranda, which opens out into the garden. The garden has been designed by Professor Aniket Bhagwat. It's in such a way that you have lots of different pathways. These walls of grasses hides each person passing by. Now, the pieces which were smaller than this size have all been used either in the pathway or shelves, but the pieces which are even smaller than this, even a piece of glass which broke on site, have all been broken down into smaller pieces, and this terrazzo has been made. So we've tried to use as much wastage also which generated on site. These wooden pergolas that you see are actually pine wood pieces from the crates of fruit boxes. This was the only tree which was there on site, and we decided to save it and build the house all around it. Throughout the construction, everybody from the workers to the contractors made sure no lime paste or powder goes into the roots, and finally we were able to save it. So this has been there before the house, and hopefully it will stay for years to come. Most of the wood which is being used in this house is all salvaged from old properties, and it's upcycled into doors, windows, frames, steps. Whatever small pieces that we got, we used it in hangers, stools, shelves, all those things. This is where we actually made our sample wall. Once we were almost done with the house here, we decided to use the sample wall, and we started making a studio. Currently the studio is being used by the daughters for their online school. In the evenings the clients use it to have some tea. It's got a nice water body here. This is the veranda, and this are the doors on these sides. It overlooks the house. The mother, even if she's in the house, she can have a little peek. Now all this is mainly because of the way the clients are. It's their personality. These are two young people who are very courageous, and they give a free hand to the architect. They live their life by principle, and they've explained this to the architects, and so all these decisions were taken because of them. It's not very easy, or not quite often, that clients allow you to do this. It's something which is not normal mainstream design. It's quite experimental in nature. We were not sure what is going to happen to these walls after 50 years, but they still wanted us to do this simply because it protects the environment, and that is very important.